What are the most common mistakes that real estate investors make? How do you determine the highest value for a specific property? And what is the difference in investing and in the returns of condos versus townhomes versus detached homes? And finally, what are the different returns in real estate? Recently, I was out in Toronto speaking to a staff of a company about real estate investing. Now, even though I'm here in Calgary, Alberta, real estate investing fundamentals are virtually the same no matter which province you're in or location. If you find anything that has resonated with you in this presentation, let me know in the comments below, and I will be sure to do more videos about that specific topic. Enjoy the video. We gotta change the game. So we're going to talk about real estate investing now. I know you mentioned I am from Calgary, but today what I'm going to cover are fundamentals of real estate investing. It doesn't matter where you live in the world, some of these principles are the same. So guys, this is Forbes' top 10 biggest industries for billionaires as of this year, 2023, okay? And these are some of the industries. There's finance and investments, technology, food and beverage. Real estate is up there, along with media and entertainment, okay? Out of all these industries, real estate came in at number 7, okay? So as of March, when this report came out, 2023, there was 193 billionaires. Now, am I gonna promise you guys you're gonna be billionaires after the speech today? Well, if I could, I would, right? But what I wanted to show you is that what we know is that all these guys, they probably just started with only one property. And that's very achievable. So today's topics, these are the things I'm gonna cover, okay? Finding out what your property is truly worth, meaning what is the peak potential for the property that you are looking to buy. Investing with purpose, having intention versus just kind of winging it. Investment styles, there's different ways to invest and there's multiple ways to earn a return on your income property. Common pitfalls, I see these mistakes happen all the time, for years, the same mistakes. I wanna share them with you guys today because you guys don't have to make those costly mistakes and get a bigger return on your investment. And then what I call is concept step 0, which is before you get to the first step, what is the number one thing that you have to consider or do before getting into real estate investing? So just a quick bio, my name is Felix Chan. I am a team lead along with my business partner, Jasmine Lai, over in Calgary at the LiveInnerCity real estate team. The brokerage we're with is Real Broker. Now, Real Broker is a publicly traded company with 12,000 agents all over North America, okay? And within that, 2% of the company are elite agents, meaning they're the top 2% of the top producing agents out of all 12,000 agents in North America. We are one of them. And I have had or still have properties in BC, Alberta, and some land in Saskatchewan. So let's get started. So how true wealth in real estate is generated is by this one principle. If you guys take anything away today, this is one of those things. Number one is like figuring out the peak potential. What is the maximum value for your property? Realizing your property's true worth, okay? And this is the principle of the highest and best use. Now, what does that mean? It means that what is the most value you can get out of your piece of property? So how do you get the most value out of a piece of property? That's how you generate the most wealth, okay? What do I mean by that? I'll give you an example. So on this side, if a builder came downtown, bought a city block, and they built a 40-story high-rise building, which happens to be the tallest building that the city will allow you to build, and you're maximizing your square footage, you're getting the highest and best use because you can't add any more value to it. Does that make sense? Right? Versus if you bought a condo in that building, you're buying into the highest and best use. There's absolutely nothing you can do to add more value to that condo. Yeah, maybe in 10, 15 years, you could replace cabinets, give it a paint job, replace the floors, but it's not gonna be life-changing wealth. Okay, so investing with purpose. This is very important because now I'm going to go over what are the differences between investing in a condo, a townhome, or a single detached home, right? What are the pros and cons? What are the different returns, okay? So for condos and townhomes, some of the things that is great about it is that it's a lower cost. So a lower cost means that you can buy a condo that is in more of a central location. It's easier management because you just have to manage all the things that are within the walls of your condo. Anything beyond the walls, it's part of the condo board that takes care of it. And also lower maintenance. Because it's just within the walls, you don't have to worry about exterior stuff, windows, doors, roofing, those kind of things. What is not so great is that there's only one stream of income. One stream of income, okay? You own air, not dirt. Condo fees, they only go one way, right? I mean, inflation is set to 2 to 3%, and if it's not managed properly, then it could be much higher than that. And of course, you don't have as much flexibility because of the bylaws that condos come with. So as an example, STRs are short-term rentals. Anything that's being rented less than 30 days is a short-term rental. Today, a condo board may allow that to happen, but tomorrow, they could take it away just like that. So if your business model is purely based on Airbnbs and the municipality or the condo board are clamping down on it like what they're doing now, then it's gonna hurt your business model. Detached, okay. What are the great things about that? It maximizes your ROI, your return on investment. And it's really based on the principle that I just talked about, getting the highest and best use. You have better appreciation potential. So in 2008 and 2014 in Calgary anyway, we had a crash, right? And when you're comparing to condos, detached homes, they came back in value a lot faster and a lot more than condos did. You have better appreciation potential, kind of like what I just mentioned. You have multiple streams of income. What do I mean by this? So I have a rental property, and it's a bungalow. It's a 50s bungalow, and I'm renting up the upstairs. I'm renting the downstairs, okay? And I legalized this, so that's 2 streams of income. The property came with a single detached garage, which I rented for $125 a month, and then I built a double detached garage, oversized. My mortgage on that is $115, but I'm renting for $400. Okay? So that's maximizing the highest and best use. If you didn't know you can rental your garage, you can. People have a lot of junk, and they need a place to store all their stuff. So people rent it all day long. You own dirt, not air. And you have the most flexibility because you're not bound by any bylaws like condos. Some things that are not so great about detached, the cost is high, right? It's a barrier to entry. Higher maintenance because you have your roof, you have your furnace, your hot water tank, those things that you have to maintain. And then obviously there's just more to manage, right? But I mean, nothing is easy in life, right? Nothing is easy. So going with the detached, in my opinion, is the best type of investment. Okay, so the other things I want to talk about is, what kind of returns do you guys want from your property? We get a ton of calls from people in Ontario looking to buy pre-construction because that's what they want, right? You guys have been so lucky the last 10 years because you just buy anything and it will go up. Now it's a different story. But you have to prioritize what is more important to you. Do you want cash flow, meaning the rental income that you guys get minus your expenses? Sometimes you'll have some positive cash flow that you'll have. It could be $100, $200, it could be $500, right? A little bit tougher here in Toronto, but some of those returns are still available in Calgary. Or do you want appreciation, right? Now, here's the most important thing that some of you guys may be realizing now. Appreciation is never guaranteed. Appreciation is never guaranteed because you don't know what the market is doing when you do sell, and you don't know when you have to sell, and you don't know when the market is doing that, right? Some of you guys, if you know people buying pre-construction, a lot of people are walking away. I heard there's even fires happening, coincidentally, at these new condo buildings, right? How weird is that? So when you're investing, invest with purpose, okay? Here's a pro tip. Leverage your secondary suite so that you can have increased purchasing power. So I confirmed to the mortgage broker here as well. When you buy a property with a legal basement suite, you can use that income to offset your mortgage when you buy the property. So now you can qualify for even more. So if you bought a property for $400K and it didn't have a basement suite, you now can qualify for something closer to $500 with a legal basement suite. And now what do you have? You have a detached home, you have more income, and you might be able to buy in a better location. So, some of the other considerations is, consider your long-term goals and the financial implications based on the property type that you want to buy. So some examples are, what do you want to get out of this investment property, right? Is it maybe supplementing $3,000 a month in income for your retirement because you can get $3,000 a month in rent? Is it to gift to your kids, leave a legacy for them, give them a head start? I mean, think about where real estate prices are going to be like in 20, 25 years from now. Like, where are they going to be? It's going to be probably unaffordable, right? So setting a legacy up for your family is important. And then, leveraging your equity to buy more properties. Because over time, real estate goes up as long as our population doesn't go down, like Japan, right? So here are the different ways that you could invest in real estate. Now, these are 3 general buckets. So there's buy and hold, which is a very common investing strategy. You buy something, you hold on to it for 10, 15, 20 years. There's buy something, you renovate, and then you sell it. And then there's buy and build, which is getting really popular in Calgary. Or where you buy an old lot, you tear it down, and then you build some new properties on it. It could be one house, a duplex, or row housing with legal basement suites, giving you 8 units. It's crazy. Or you could do a combination of both, right? You could buy and hold for 10, 15 years with the plan of building in the future. Now, all these things on the bottom here, they play into one or a few of these different investment styles. There's capital appreciation, which is a way of return, right? Meaning the property increases over time. That's capital appreciation. You have your rental income, right? What you're getting for rent. Your principal pay down. So every month, your payment is part principal and part interest. In the first 5 to 10 years, it's very heavy on the interest side. You don't really pay down a lot of principal. But after the 10th year, you start paying that down. You get tax benefits. So, if you guys need some new tools and you have a rental property, you can buy tools to fix your rental property, and then you can expense it and write it off as part of your income. Not accounting advice. I'm not an accountant. Okay, go talk to your accountant and just make sure. And then lastly, you can really leverage what you guys have, because if you guys bought a property 10 years ago, your property would be worth, like Sung was telling me, his buddies bought a property in, where is it, like Windsor? Was it Windsor? Mm-hmm. For $80,000? And now it's worth like 600 something? What the? That is crazy, right? That's capital appreciation right there, okay? Now with that capital appreciation, you can get leverage out of that, right? Pull out your equity, there's your down payment to go buy another property. Okay, this is my favorite part here, okay? The most common investing mistakes I see every day, for years, the same ones, okay? So take note of this, guys, because you guys can avoid making these mistakes. All right, number 1, no mortgage assessment. So I get calls from, I got a few calls from people in Ontario, and they're like, oh, I bought a pre-construction, I want to sell it, or I want to do an assignment sale. And I'm like, okay, like what's the reason why you want to sell it? And everyone's like, oh, it should be worth like a lot more. But when I was talking to a few of these people, they were like, oh, I don't qualify for a mortgage. I'm like, okay, well, guys, when you buy a pre-construction or whatever the case may be, you have to put a deposit down. If you don't know if you can qualify for that home, then guess what? You're gonna lose your deposit. That's not everything though. The builder can also sue you for up to 2 years after you walk away from your deal. Okay, so you always have that cloud hanging over your head, because you did not perform on your contract. You did not fulfill your contractual obligations. So they do have a right to sue you for damages. Number 2, not treating investing as a business. This blows my mind. So people will buy $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 properties, find a tenant, stick them in there, but never visit the property. They never talk to the tenant. But you have a $700,000 asset. That doesn't make any sense, right? The house is your shop. The tenant is your customer because they're the ones who's paying you. So make sure you maintain good customer service and maintain your shop. Repair it when it needs it. Don't just leave it to rot, okay? Number 3, this is mostly for my Asian people out there because we're all cheap. They're like, oh, I want to buy the cheapest property, right? But the cheapest property doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the best investment. What comes with cheap? Well, you're going to get a crappy location, right? Your tenant profile is probably not going to be that great. They're not going to be white-collar workers, right? And your investment is not going to be reaching its full potential, okay? So the cheapest homes does not represent the best investment. Instead, focus on your investment objectives and what you want to get out of the investment in 10, 15, 20 years, whatever your exit strategy is. Oh, this one. Who invested in crypto when it was like crazy? You know, invested in crypto? Did everyone lose their entire net worth like me, like I did? Yeah, a little bit. Still surviving? Still working? You have to work? Yeah. So one of my buddies, he bought an investment property with me, and this was during the peak of like when crypto was going crazy. And he's like, hey Fee, you know, I want to sell my investment property. I'm like, why? He's cash flowing like $500 a month, and it's gone up probably like 50 grand, his house. I'm like, why would you want to sell your investment property? He's like, it's just not sexy. You know, it's just kind of boring. You know, the house, it doesn't look that great. And you know, it's just, I don't know, not exciting. And I'm like, dude, real estate is not sexy. All you're doing is you're buying a single family home, a typical family home, right? And it's a slow return over years, but they compound year after year. That's why real estate is such a great investment, because it's stable, right? And over time, you will get the return. And so, you know, he ended up keeping it, and I got a call just last week, and he's like, Fee, thanks for, you know, not selling my house and giving me that advice. If your home was all pimped out, that means your rent is gonna be super high. If your rent is super high, who's gonna rent it? A smaller portion of the population, right? So real estate's not sexy, guys. It's just a home, but maintain it. And the returns over 15, 20, 25 years, that is sexy. Buying pre-construction and expecting it to go up. Again, appreciation is not guaranteed. No consideration to location, tenant profile, cash flow, or exit strategy. You know, when you're applying for a job, you kind of have an idea what you guys want, right? Oh, I want this income. I want this culture. You know, I want these benefits. But when people buy investment properties, they just know they just want to buy something. But they don't really put much consideration into, well, who do I want to rent it to? What kind of customer do I want in my shop so I can run my business, right? That's the tenant profile. What about the location? You know, the location is actually what helps your property appreciate. So I'll give you a really quick tip. If you guys bought something where, you know, maybe some new infrastructure is happening, either public or private money is being poured into that area, then it's gonna go up over time because there's more value being added to that area, right? Or if it's like a new train station. I mean, typically in Calgary, if you're within 800 meters of a train station, your property value is worth much more than anyone outside of that circumference. And then exit strategy, like what's your guys' plans with the property? You know, is it to give it to kids? Is it to supplement retirement? be intentional with what you want to do. And then the last one is, buying or renovating as if you're going to be living there. So I'm guilty of, this one and some of these other lessons as well too. But when you're renovating a property or when you're looking for a property, remember it's not for you guys. And a lot of us will fall into the trap of wanting, it's not like, it's kind of ghetto, or it kind of needs a lot of work, or it's not up to your standards. But remember guys, you're not buying it for you. You're not gonna be the ones living there. It just has to match market rents for that area and be in a good enough shape that it has some longevity to it. So what is your very first step to get started? Before anything else, step 0, we have to start with the mortgage assessment. And Mr. Sung Lee here will be talking a little bit about that. The reason why this is so important is because if you don't know how much of a mortgage you can get, then how do you know what kind of property you can buy? Mortgage financing, your pre-approval, is the one factor that determines what type of property you buy and in what area you buy in. And now once you know that, now you know how much down payment you have to put on, your monthly payments, all those things. And now you know those numbers, now you can go and start running cash flow analysis on the properties that you want to buy. Once you know that, then the next step would be figuring out your investment objectives. Now, this is a QR code, okay guys? If you guys want to take a photo of this, I've made this just for you guys. It's gonna take you to a PDF and it will ask you a series of questions that we ask our clients. The exact questions that we ask our people in our consultation. This is gonna be a really good guide for you guys to kind of figure out how to get started once you do the mortgage assessment. These are really vital, important questions so that you can be more intentional with the property you buy. And it's free. It's just your name and email, okay? After that, you want to assemble your team. Well, who do you need? You need a realtor, right? And if you guys need some resources, you can lean on me for some contacts within the industry. Even though I'm in Calgary, I have contacts here. Sung as the mortgage broker. And then you also need a lawyer, your home inspector, a condo doc review if you're buying a condo. But your real estate agents will have most of these contacts. So you don't have to go out and find them. And then the last step is the fun part, right? So the fun part is always last. But you cannot ignore these things right here. So if you guys have any questions, I would love for you guys not to be shy, to come ask. What I'm planning on doing is when Sung is finished talking, we'll come up here together so we can answer all your mortgage and real estate questions together, okay? If you guys want to follow me, I have a lot of, our YouTube is more long form content, so I go way more into the weeds and the details. But our Instagram, it's just kind of more quicker kind of content. So you're more than welcome to check us out at LiveInnerCity, and we always post some content out there for you guys.